This is... Holy shit. They're adding so many combo breaker cards this expansion. It's crazy. Like anti-combo deck cards. It's literally fighting fire with fire.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
I know that's what you're all here for. Oh, chat, you were right again. Well, no, you weren't right last time. You said Gnar was gonna get released. But this time you're right. Let's go. Four mana, 1/4 dual regions. As you guys guessed, when I'm summoned, create a darkness in hand. If you don't have one, on start, grant your darkness everywhere 1 extra damage. Okay, you've dealt 12 plus damage with darkness. His voice lines are so annoying. Okay, darkness. 3 mana, deal 2 to an enemy is probably gonna be the base. So whenever rounds start, so you play him on 4, if he stays on the board, your darknesses get extra damage. That's pretty slow. Considering that he has the same body as Maokai, it's like fairly easy to remove with Flock, Black Spear, Merciless Hunter and so on. Challengers. He's also a backline engine. Okay, let's continue. The true MVP. I let this video run once, then I'll stop and read all the cards. Seven damage darkness. Okay, this I want to see though. Grand Overseer Veigar. When I'm summoned and round start. Okay. Create a darkness in hand, blah blah blah. Grant your darkness everywhere, blah blah blah. Darkness can target anything. Okay, so I suppose before it could only target units. Maybe only followers, but probably followers and champions. And now it can also hit Nexus to finish the game. So another champion with the same design philosophy of having a medium impact when he gets played, but the longer the game progresses, the more like snowbally he might become. But you have plenty of time to interact with him, which generally I think is a good design philosophy. Which is why I think Akshan, for example, is a very well-designed champion. Outside of the infinite combo, maybe. Okay. Let's check these cards out. So Veigar on his own, of course, is not super strong, but we can't really judge that before we see the supporting cards. Event Horizon. Stun an enemy, then stun all enemies with 2 or less power. Yasuo synergy. Twitch chat is gonna go crazy. Reddit is gonna go crazy. I can already see it coming. So it's a Bandle City card. Fast speed, which is really, really nice. And it's a very good tool against decks that go wide. Zeebles? No, this has nothing to do with Zeebles. This can stop an open attack from devastating you. This is pretty good against elusives and discard aggro. But it's always just going to be a meta call. If there's a lot of elusives running around, then this card's fine. Or a lot of discard type of stuff. Of course, it's not even super consistent against these decks because they might play garbage like Poppy or Arena Battlecasters. And that quickly grows their units out of the 2 power range. So I would say this is niche meta dependent, probably not super strong, slightly overpriced, but like not horrible for sure. Dark Bulb Acolyte, now it gets interesting. When I'm summoned, create a darkness in hand if you don't have one. So 2 mana 2 to augment, mono Bandle. That gives you a 3 mana deal 2 to an enemy. That seems solid, that seems really good. 2 power too low, but it has augment. I don't think it's bad at all. Keep in mind that this is mono Bandle so far, so you could build P and Z Bandle City and splash Veigar. Anyway, continuing. Tenor of Terror. 4 mana 2/3 garbage stat line. When I'm summoned, if you've played a created card or killed a unit with a spell this game. Played a created card or killed a unit with a spell this game. This is super easy to fulfill. Summon a base of Burden. 4 mana 3/2 impact. So most of the time it's gonna be a 4 mana 5/5 with impact spread over 2 bodies. But of course the bodies don't trade as well as a 5/5. Seems okay. It doesn't seem too crazy. Like sometimes it's a benefit that it's split over 2 bodies, and sometimes it's a burden. And that depends on the meta and the turn you're currently on, like the game state. If you play this in a control-y deck, most of the time you'd rather want to have 2 blockers. But then you're not making use of impact. In a swarmy deck, this is really good, but it's not inherently a swarmy archetype, and therefore I think the card's like okay, but not too good. Twisted Catalyzer, 2 mana 3/2, strike, grant your darkness everywhere 1 extra damage. This is huge. This card is very important. Okay, so if you play Veigar, you kind of have to play it with Bandle. The only question is which other region do you splash? Like you can, right? You can play Tenor while you still play this in a PNZ deck, a tri-region deck. And if you play something like Ballistic Bot, it synergizes with Dark Bulb Acolyte, and it immediately enables Tenor of Terror if you play 1 Ignition. Victor is a fit that makes sense at first sight. Reduce the cost of generated cards means darkness only costs 2. But then you might be a bit short on board control, I suppose. Anyway, Wizened Wizard. 3 mana, 3/2 Bandle City, round start, refill 1 spell mana. So this is hoping to make up its own cost, so effectively 2 mana, 3/2. But in the early stages of the game, you'll usually want to play units that you want to trade off. I don't think this card's good. 2 more new cards after these? Alright. So let's see, you have to play Veigar with these 2 support cards. Like Twisted Catalyzer, 100% for sure. This is actually really good if you have more protective spells or combat tricks. So maybe it's not even Bandle PNZ, but something like Bandle Freljord. Control deck. We'll see, we'll see. And yeah, Dark Bulb Acolyte seems to be one of the best includes as well. Like these 2 are probably auto-includes. This one I can't really judge yet. I don't think it's a must. Wizened Wizard does not look necessary at all. 4-drop is basically a must in Veigar decks. Alright, I look at the rest. Okay, well, what have we been missing so far? Stilted Rope Maker. When I'm summoned, reduce the cost of your darkness everywhere by 1. Okay, so 4 mana 3/4, a bit of a delayed body, but it immediately pays for itself as soon as you play the first darkness. Then it's already a 3 mana 3/4. Then it's already a Badger Bear. And if you play more darknesses, this could end up being like a 0 mana 3/4 or even at minus cost. Yeah, this is definitely an auto include. Now, one thing to note here is that this gets played the same turn as Veigar gets played, same mana cost, right? So if you would want to play Veigar and Victor, you'd have 9 4-drops, which is not something you generally want to see. So maybe Victor is not going to be the best shell after all. But this, yeah, this is another auto-include. So we have 2 solid 2-drops. Maybe Ballistic Bot is an option. We have this in the 4-drop slot, Veigar in the 4-drop slot. Oh, there we go. Minimorph, transform an enemy into a 3/3 mini-T and silence at burst. I think this card might be really, really good. So, opposed to the Lulu spell, you can hit champions. And it's permanent. You can transform backline engines. Now, you have to consider, though, that a 3 mana 3/3, there's value to this, right? So assuming you give your opponent a body that's worth 2.5 mana, the true cost of this is more like 8.5. But you can play this a bit earlier and it's non-interactable, it's burst. Wait, you can just pop this onto a Lee Sin. This is... Holy shit. They're adding so many combo breaker cards this expansion, it's crazy. Like anti-combo deck cards. It's literally fighting fire with fire. What we talked about yesterday on Swim's stream, like beating a toxic strategy with a toxic strategy. Yeah, this just breaks stuff like Anivia, like Lee Sin. It's really good against top-end control tools like Asol, Veigar as well. Any like one unit that the deck is really built around. Yeah, I could see this be a 1 or 2 off in a lot of Bandle City decks. It's probably not a 3 off because it is very slow. It would only be a 3 off in a very combo heavy meta or a very control heavy meta. And I don't think that's gonna happen because there are a lot of anti-combo cards being printed and released. And a lot of anti-control cards if we like look at Aloof, Travelers, and Teemo getting support in general. Like Teemo is really good against control. So all of this is gonna ensure that the meta speeds up quite a bit. I'm still struggling to think about a good shell for this though. I do feel like PNZ is the most intuitive one. Doesn't have to be. So this is mono Bandle, this is mono Bandle. Yeah, all of this has the Bandle tag, so we still have freedom in which region we want to play Veigar in. Yeah, the more I think about this, the more I think you would want to play him in quite the control deck, but control is just not gonna be that good that meta, I feel like. Because of trap decks, because of the general speeding up of the whole meta game. Okay, now that I realize this, that he doesn't generate one every round start, now I would definitely say that Dark Bulb Acolyte is must include. Interesting set of cards. I can't really think of a shell that Veigar would really excel in right now. I feel like it's just a bit too slow to get, like too clunky and too slow to get everything rolling. If you don't find these support cards early, Veigar on his own is gonna be super inefficient. I mean, especially with Minimorph though, he is a good control card that's also very good against control decks. So in a slower meta, he would excel. I just don't expect the meta to be slow.